Today I've got an updated list of all my Fragrance World fragrances. I actually have 32 of them. And keep in mind as we go through them, I'm starting with kind of my least favorite and going towards my most favorite, or the ones that I would recommend the most. I will tell you there is a lot of awesome fragrances in this collection of 32, and it's kind of hard to pick some of them above others, but I did my best. So we're going to get in, but before we do, remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that. I've got videos coming out every couple days, and I hope you'll join us. Also, remember to give a click to the like button if you like the video, and let me know in the comments what are your top 3 Fragrance World scents. All right, here we go. First up, this is number 32 in line, not because it's a bad fragrance, but it's just one I don't wear a lot. I have a number of Oud fragrances, and Oud is not necessarily one of my favorite notes, especially in a fragrance that is mostly Oud. So I'm talking about this one right here, Moka Woods. It's actually a really good dark woody fragrance, kind of the scent of damp wood, and then you do actually have a good bit of chocolate. Haven't smelled this one in a while. Yeah, it's chocolatey, but it almost has a little bit of like a boozy feel as well. I wouldn't be surprised at all to find out if there was like a brandy note in this, which I don't think there is, but it does remind me of that. All right, next up, another one that's not a bad fragrance. This is one I got a couple years ago now, and I think it was one of the earlier fragrances from Fragrance World that kind of came on the scene that people became familiar with. This is Proud of You Absolute, and it is a dupe of Stronger With You Absolutely, as you may know. And it's actually a really good representation of that scent. It's basically just like Stronger With You with a booziness. And I think they did a really good job. There is a significant quality difference. Side by side, you can tell the difference between the Armani and this one, but it's actually a really good representation of that fragrance, Stronger With You Absolute. Really great performance on my skin. Most of these are, but this one's like easily an 8+ hour fragrance. All right, and next, another one that's actually really good. I think it's a great dupe of Raja Parfums Elysium. I'm talking about Imperium. And this one right here is, of course, that citrus and black currant fruit blast in the opening. And then you go down into a grassy green vetiver and woody and somewhat leathery dry down. The bright fruitiness holds on for the first couple hours, and then you've got that dry sort of woody vetiver for a good 6 or so hours after that. So it does perform good on my skin, but you lose the fruitiness after a couple hours. Again, Imperium by Fragrance World. All right, next up, another one that's actually great. I think this is a great dupe of Tom Ford Oud Wood. I recently, though, picked up a Dumont Barouge fragrance, L'Amissat Oud, and it's pretty much knocked this one out, so I don't even really wear it anymore, but it's still a great Oud Wood dupe. This is Fragrance World's Oud Wonder. They really nail the fragrance profile. I think this one might be slightly fresher, that sort of floral freshness on the top of Oud Wood. Maybe this one's got 10% more, but it's still in that like 85 to 90% similar range. Oud Wonder. All right, next, we'll go with this one that, again, I don't have anything really bad to say about it. It's just I've got a number of other representations of something like Angel Share, and this one's towards the bottom of the list of that collection for me. This is Cocktail Intense by Fragrance World, and it's a gorgeous, spicy, rich, vanillic, ambery, a little bit boozy fragrance. I think Angel Share itself has more booziness than this one, but it's still, a really good dupe and a very inexpensive dupe for that fragrance. Cocktail Intense by Fragrance World. All right, next up, this one I think is a good dupe of the fragrance that it is cloning, Guerlain's, Ideal, EDP, that line. I've got a couple of them in here. And so this is the EDP. It's, almond and cherry. It's a gorgeous fragrance. I do find this one to be more synthetic than the Guerlain. I do find it to be not as rich as the Guerlain, but you know, it's a good clone. It's in that easily 85% similar category, but the quality difference is the thing that I'm kind of highlighting here. Supreme L'Homme EDP. All right, this one is a new one that a lot of people are talking about, and I think it's a really good alternative to Parfums de Marly Greenly. I just don't really wear it that much. I don't find it to be that exciting, although I think it's a accurate representation of Greenly. I'm talking about Aether Extrait. I will mention this one is from the F.A. Paris or French Avenue brand, sub-brand of Fragrance World, and it's just green apple, a good bit of freshness off the top, and then there is a woodiness, a textured kind of woodiness, very similar to Greenly, although as I have said, I think this one's a little more woody than Greenly is, but if you want something that smells like Greenly, this is the best option that I know of. Long-lasting stuff too, especially that woodiness hangs on forever. And speaking of a woody fragrance, here's one with a very interesting name. This is Hard Wood by Fragrance World. This one's a dupe of Bath & Body Works Mahogany Wood, a discontinued fragrance. And this one is basically, yeah, it's like a citrus and wood. This one has gotten better over time. It's not that it smelled bad whenever I first got it, but it has gotten, it's come together more. It's a little richer. It doesn't smell as synthetic or cheap, although it didn't smell overly cheap to begin with. But this one to me is kind of like the woodiness and the citrus from Spice Bomb. It smells a lot like that to me, but it doesn't have the spice. I'm talking about the original Spice Bomb. Hard Wood by Fragrance World. That's actually a great way to describe this one that I just described it to you. So well done for identifying how that one smells. All right, this next one. This one's a new pickup and it's really good. And several in my family really like this one as well. This one is a clone of Dior Homme Sport. This is Parfum d'Homme Sport. And it smells very similar to the Dior. And it actually smells fairly similar to Dior Homme because the Sport and Dior Homme are pretty similar. It's just, to me, again, it's not a very exciting fragrance. It's a great anytime, anywhere, any situation fragrance. Doesn't smell cheap. Does smell synthetic because it is a very synthetic fragrance as the Dior is. But if you want a great alternative to that one, here you go. Parfum d'Homme Sport. And we're going to start getting into ones that I really, really like. You know, we're at number 9 right now. We're going to go to 16, and we're getting into some really good ones. And the video after this is going to be, every one of the fragrances in the video after this, I actually absolutely love and wear a lot. All right, so this next one, this one's really good. This is an alternative to Tom Ford's Cherry Smoke, and this is their version, Cherry Incense. And I do think it's appropriately named because I think in this fragrance, they took out the smoke note, or at least they really minimized it, and they added in more of an incense kind of note. So instead of just sort of dark burnt woods, it's like burnt incense, almost like a frankincense incense, and then just a bunch of cherry. That sour cherry and the sweetness, they did a really good job. I sprayed this one just a couple days ago. So this is really good stuff. It smells like cherry and incense, cherry incense. All right, next. Hope these don't start to fall on me. This one's really good. If you want a cheap blue fragrance that's just a little different from the whole army of blue fragrances out there, grab this one. It's an alternative to Prada's Luna Rossa Ocean, the EDT, which has iris in it. This is Pride Marine Red Moon. And so this one is basically a aquatic, woody blue fragrance with iris. And it's an EDP, so technically it is a more concentrated take on the EDT of the Prada. I don't know how performance compares. I don't own the Prada, but I have smelled it. I have sprayed it on skin, and this one's pretty good. You know, a little more synthetic or cheap smelling, but that is honestly to be expected, but it's a really good fragrance and a unique blue that you can get for cheap. All right, this one is an awesome alternative to Jean Paul Gaultier Le Beau. This is Jean Gustave Homme Amaze. And it's just a really good coconut, tonka bean, pineapple fragrance. It is tropical, gorgeous, tropical, somewhat aquatic fragrance. And if you want something that will put you in the mood like you're at the beach or going on vacation, this is a great pickup right here. Really no complaints about this one. It's just really good. I just have several in that line, and so I don't wear this one as much, but it's actually really good. All right, where should we go next? Let's go with this one. This one's great, and it got a lot of hype, I think for good reason. A lot of people love this one. It's an alternative to a discontinued La Nuit de l'Homme flanker. I'm talking about Bleu Electrique, and this one is Jack of Clubs. And so you have that ginger, cardamom spiciness. You've got also some lavender, kind of aromatic freshness. You've got some woodiness and also some ambroxan, which is why it's a Bleu Electrique dupe rather than the original La Nuit de l'Homme. Really, really good stuff. I have about a dozen different versions of La Nuit de l'Homme and things that smell like it. So I like it. I just don't wear it as much because I have so many things that smell like that. All right, next up, I'm going to go with one that I just actually recently got in, and it is now the best alternative to Maison Martin Margiela's By the Fireplace that I have. This is Ace of Spades. This stuff is awesome. You know, smoky, woody, marshmallow, that gorgeous literal impression of sitting by the fireplace roasting marshmallows. You've got a good vanillic sweetness. You've got a pretty long-lasting fragrance as well. Definitely fall and winter appropriate. Ace of Spades. All right, and then finally, we're going to go with this one right here. This is also a new pickup, and it's another alternative to a Maison Martin Margiela fragrance. It's an alternative to Jazz Club. This is Olfactory Music Fest, and this stuff is so good. Music Fest is a tobacco-based fragrance, but to me, it's like a cigar tobacco. You've got tobacco, but you've also got some smokiness. You've also got some ashiness, so you have that sort of whole cigar experience, and then you've got a little bit of cognac in there as well. This one says it has the note of leather as well, which the original does not have, but this actually does give you the impression of being in a jazz club. Again, Olfactory Music Fest. Okay, so I would love to hear from you down in the comments. What would you say are your top 3 from Fragrance World? And this one has taken us through 15 in my list, not 16. And the next video is going to take us through the top 16 in my collection. I hope you'll come back. Remember to subscribe and like the video if you liked it. I'm Justin. This is Sillage Scents.